Okay, using properties. Here are 7 examples, and they want you to name the property that you use. Take a look at number 1. The first question I'd have is, how many terms are there? Well, I have a 5x, 4y, and 3x. There are 3 terms on this side, and they're the exact same 3 terms on the other side. Okay, so it's either commutative or associative. Notice they associate or solve, put parentheses around the 4y plus 3x, and over here, wait a second, they put the parentheses around the same ones, but what did they do to the 3x and 4y? They switched them. They tried to trick you. So anytime you switch the order that you're adding, that's called, if my pen could write, it's called the commutative. And it's a commutative property that operations are using is addition. Let's look at number 2. I have 3 terms, 7x, 9x, and 8. Okay. I have 3 terms on the other side, 7x, 9x, and 8. They're in the same order, but here they put the parentheses around the 9x plus 8, and on this side they put the parentheses around the 7x and 9x. So that must mean they're associating. So it's the associative, and they're using the operation of addition. Now let's take a look at this one. 5 times 3x plus y. Well, that looks like the distributed property. Let me double check the other side. 5 times 3x plus 1y. Isn't 1y the same as y? If it's the exact same thing on both sides, it's the identity. Now, what operation are they using is the key here. Are they using addition or multiplication? Okay, they're using addition inside the parentheses, but here is what matters. It's the identity of multiplication. Okay, that's the difference. Because technically, 3x plus y is thought of as one term. Okay, let's go on to number 4. I have 7n plus 2n equals 7 plus 2 times n. There's my pen. Okay, how'd they get from here to here? It looks like they took an n out. So I would have to distribute the n to the 7 to get 7n, and the n to the 2 to get 2n. So if you guessed distributive property, then you're correct. Number 5, 6 plus negative 6 gives you a 0y. Okay, well, when I add the opposite, I get 0. And the opposite is also known as the inverse. And it is the inverse of addition. The reason it's the inverse of addition is because they're adding the opposite in order to get your answer here. Let's take a look at number 6. 1/4 times 4. equals 1. Well, when I multiply a number by its reciprocal, or flip it through multiplication, it gives me 1. That's also called the inverse, and the operation is multiplication. Remember, the additive inverse gives me 0. The multiplicative inverse gives me 1. Okay, number 7. I saved the hardest one for last. Let's see if you can do this one. 4n plus 0 gives me the same thing back. If I were to look in the mirror, I would see myself. Well, here, if I add 0, I get the same thing back. That is what we call your identity. When you look in a mirror, you see your identity. And it's identity of addition, because you're adding 0.